to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Please like the video. I appreciate it so much. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Please like the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And today is going to be a Mindful Monday. Quick topics, hot topics. Married to Medicine, in my opinion, was not worth a full review. So what I wanted to do on that is just give my thoughts, to give slight recap on certain scenes if they're important to what I'm going to speak about. And that's probably going to be it as far as Married to Medicine goes. Also, I had a chance to watch The Real Housewives of Potomac, which I review. I don't review, but I view for my own viewing pleasure at times. And then there are times that I've also dropped it because of the things that they've done. I didn't like the Giselle and Robin relationship in the way that they would gang up on the other ladies. I always had a problem with that. Thank you for entering the chat, Mahogany Meeks, my little sis. How are you? Today, I'm just beginning. This is Women's Month. So it's still Black Women Month for me. But it's Sade is, I want to be Zen. Zen Win. Zen Win is going to come up. We didn't see Zen Win at the Real Housewives of Potomac review, but I am fine with that because Zen Win was lighting everybody up, and I loved it. Dr. Wendy, my favorite couple across any reality TV franchise. Nene and Greg Leakes are the OGs. Rest in peace to Greg Leakes, because I used to love how he would kind of center Nene, even when they broke up and he was trying to get back in. And we knew Greg could be a mess. Greg was an old school player, and he could be a mess. I liked him with Nene. I feel like they were a partnership. So I would have them as my favorite couple, even though Greg's deceased, but for years they were the ones. But Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie, he's taken that name and made money with it. And it was something that they tried to deride him with because he's smiling. And he smiled at someone and spoke to someone who then turned around and tried to lie on him. Sesame Street claimed he was trying to, I don't know what she thought he was trying to, he wasn't trying to do anything. Eddie's one of those men that are smiling, and he leads with a smile, and he's happy, even when he called TJ. I'll go ahead and make that my first topic. Real Housewives of Potomac. That was my favorite scene at the reunion. When he called TJ, that was the cliffhanger from last week. And we get a new TJ. TJ's in his car driving. Thankfully, TJ is safe because he's out in California with the fires. I think he was either being evacuated or moving or doing something. But TJ had the nerve that, I don't care about the fake A show, he called it. Them fake A people. This was a new voice that we heard on TJ. TJ had a black accent. TJ was not ready for TV. He was happy, I guess, to just be on Eddie's phone. And Eddie asked TJ where he was. TJ had the nerve to say he hadn't been invited and he wasn't coming because Stacey owed him money. So we started this week's reunion last night with Stacey lying to Andy Cohen, sitting there acting like, she said, I can't imagine. She kept saying, I can't imagine. And Andy said, you don't have to imagine. My people have it on the phone. It's on the camera that's shooting Mia. Mia was leaving. Y'all, I think Mia done left the building. And I hope she doesn't come back, because that's another reason I really would only watch sporadically. Because when they started giving her first chair and her first real big splash was when she threw that drink in Dr. Wendy's face, because just Wendy was just using her verbal skills on her. And then she tried to hit her with that clutch. I didn't have any use for that. I didn't like the way the ladies took her side, especially Giselle and Robin. Robin flat out said, I don't care because I don't like Wendy. No physical violence. Robin has consistently been, in my opinion, the most violent one. They've never called her on it. Mia got away with it. I hope she is gone. But I didn't have a problem with Giselle and the way she conducted herself last night. I wish I could find that scene. I don't know that I can, but that is okay. So Dr. Wendy and Eddie are my favorite couple among any other franchises. And the other thing that made me laugh, and I don't know that it was so funny because of how these two respond, Heckle and Jekyll, that was Giselle and Ashley over on that other couch. All the lies we've caught those two ladies in. How many men have Giselle rented for this show? And she was just shocked. And Ashley was over there pretending like, oh, I wonder if she's in Venmo or Cash App or Zelle. Ashley, you know all the payment apps, don't you? So those two were too much. I found that pretty funny. I'm going to speak. Sharon Godbolt came in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank everyone for liking the video. There's a live in the street that I want to get over there to as well. So this is just going to be my quick kind of mindful Monday, meaningful Monday update that I want to do So the first was the Real Housewives of Potomac. If I come up with the scene, I'll bring it up. And my thoughts for Mia, I hope she's gone. Married to Medicine was actually the next one. I had a chance to watch the full episode. I wasn't impressed with the full episode at all. I had some things that I was looking at, and I'll bring this lady up because we talked about her last night. I hope everyone had a chance to watch Dropping Extra Sassy Tea Talk with myself, Sandra P's Gen Extra, and all the ladies. Sassy TV from the 803, Drop the Tea, and the beloved Tea Talk with Your Girl, whose brainchild this was, and tapped everyone and asked everyone. And I was so grateful that they all said yes. So we have fun. We end up talking about, we start out talking about the preview of Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is coming up. And we'll be live on Wednesday nights. We'll also be live on Sunday nights as well. So this young lady we talked about last night, she's a turning OG. She has a relationship with all the other ladies. Excuse me. That's Phaedra Park. She was down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. They're having some problem with Mardi Gras. I think the winds. So they were, because of the floats and everything, they were making a decision as to whether or not they were still going to do anything. Those are her two beautiful sons, Dylan and Aiden. Aiden being the oldest. Dylan is the one they call Mr. President for so long. We know him as that because we watched his birthday party. This is them leading the parade, one of the floats that Phaedra was in front of. There was a funny picture. I didn't show it because it had music. There's her with one of the queens of the parade. I didn't show it, but Phaedra was out there shaking a tail feather. It was gorgeous. So here's another young lady. I don't know who that is. Oh, there's Phaedra. I don't know. Pretty. But we always used to go to New Orleans the week before, so they'll be doing prep and everything. And the weather, believe it or not, is still nice at that time. But I never experienced a full-on Mardi Gras and did not want to. This story came up. These are in my prayers because everyone knows I live in North Carolina. I've been here for some years. But guess what? We're getting multiple wildfires, South Carolina as well. And this is related to news, current news, because the fake Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is being run by the unelected South African who was admitted to repeated and steady ketamine abuse, and also claims that he's on the spectrum. I don't know about that. His father said that he's dumb and that there's something wrong with him, but his father is a degenerate as well. So he's from a long line of degenerates. But I bring this up because in North Carolina, they have fired a lot of the National Forestry Services. So we need specialists that are able to manage these fires. And how do we know whether or not these would have even started? So this is really scary. This is really scary. I'm praying for the people. When I woke up this morning, it was 0% contained, but right now at 2:10 Eastern, it's 30% contained, but we have dry conditions and strong winds. So there's a lot of just small fires, little fires everywhere. There was a Hulu movie, and then a book that came out, Little Fires Everywhere, Kerry Washington. So I'm praying for my state, for South Carolina. California is still going through what they're going through. So when you see these videos, some of the people crying about their jobs and being released like that, other people are laughing about it, saying federal workers do no work. They do work. Just because we don't know what that particular job is, there's work being done. And I think a lot of this damage, some of it cannot be undone. I just pray a lot of it can be undone, but people are still protesting. I'm happy for that. The 92%, I want us to still remain what we have been doing, resting and then protesting in our own way. February 28th was a start with the not spending money. I've been doing good. I don't miss not spending. I haven't spent other than what I needed. So I'm doing pretty well with that. So I have one in the bushes, in the chat. I appreciate the people that walked into the chat. Thank you so much. And then there was a thread that I actually wanted to play and then just give my views on that because, okay, this is threads. Okay, excuse me. I don't know the saved as well as I know the saved in IG. Okay. This is a person, he has been on and off with the mother of his children for 20 years. Let me see how I can start this. And now he's sick. And guess what he wants to do? You have a wild guess, but I'll let him play it out.
Stay in a child's place.
I don't know how to rewind this. I think I'll go off the page and come back, and then it'll start from the beginning. Here we go.
He's a minor. If I want to move in with Tuki and live with her, he should be a part of the conversation, but he should not be allowed to make the final decision. And a child should stay in a child's place. Tuki listened to our son. He said no. She said no. Now, we've been going back and forth for 2 decades. And again, he's my son. And here I am nearing a health crisis. Cancer is not a joke. It is a health crisis. I absolutely need the help of Tuki and the love of a house full of children at this time. I made mistakes in our relationships in the past. I can't change that now. What I can do is make amends and atone and come back into her home so she can take care of me. That's what children are supposed to do. That's what your baby mama is supposed to do. She's supposed to take care of you when you need her. So this threw me for a curve. And then my son tells me that he has father figures in his life. I'm not a father figure. I'm his father. And that's a behavior that needs to be corrected on his end. But it is what it is. And that's where we are. I'm not moving in. And that's that.
Okay.
My son is 17.
Oh, let me just stop it again.
If I want to move in with Tuki and live with her, he should be a part of the conversation, but he should not be allowed to make the final decision.
Okay, I just let him start all over. Do you hear what this man is saying? I was going to call him a young man, but he's probably relatively young. He has a 17-year-old son with a woman he's naming Tuki. And he knows all the responsibilities of everyone else. Then, but he doesn't know the responsibilities of an actual father who is in his children's life, not just in and out of the woman's life. So now he's ill. He's received some type diagnosis, and he expects this woman to take care of him. And he feels like he should be in her house with his 17-year-old son and her other children. I imagine that as he left her through the years, she has been moving on with her life. So what do y'all think about that? Some of these men are too much. I agree with what the lady's doing. She listened to her son. She asked the children and let them weigh in on whether or not he should live there. And they told him no. And he's aggrieved about it. He's gone to the internet about it. This came from 6 Brown Chicks. If you ladies are familiar, follow them on Macy's, get out of here. I'm not buying anything. I have to turn those notifications off. These people they're something else. Get out of there. 6 Brown Chicks. Iyanla Fix Your Life, the first few seasons, one of the shows, this was like when podcasting and all that kind of stuff first started, there was a group called 6 Brown Chicks, and it was 6 Black women of different ages. They had a younger one, and then there were different 30s, they had 40s. So they had the Gen Xers, they had a millennial, they didn't have Z yet. Z was too young at the time, but they were having a problem with their podcast because some of the older ladies were trying to boss around the younger one and would not respect her ideas and that sort of thing. So Iyanla was trying to help them still manage their business and everything. So they have a presence now on Threads. And I really like Threads because you can kind of construct your own group of people that you follow. When you put in topics that you're interested in, and you get people that you want to follow. So I don't have a lot of the podcast brothers and people like that. The incels and the blend cells, which are the Black incels over there arguing with women. I don't have any of those in my thread. So sometimes people will rant on something that happened. And did you hear what so-and-so said? And I'm lucky enough, I haven't even heard it because I have blocked out a lot of the foolishness. But this man is over there crying about he's not able to move in with this woman. And the part that stood out to me was he said, that is what your baby mama's supposed to do. No, sir, that is not what your baby mama is supposed to do. That is what a wife would do. That is what, if you were her husband and the situation were reversed, hopefully that is what a real husband would do. But imagine this man going to the internet and then preaching about what a husband or wife does. So it sounds like he's on his way to rehab or a convalescent home or someone else who can take care of him, because the children said no, they don't want that to fall on their mother. They don't want that to fall on them. So that was a story that was interesting to me. That stood out to me. That was pretty interesting. Okay, now under my saved topics, I didn't have the Married to Medicine topic about, was it? I watched the whole show. Dr. Greg got on my nerves, y'all, with that silly song and everything. He and Cecil, that was just a mess. I think he made a fool of himself in front of Dr. Eugene and Dr. Scott singing that song. He needs to let it go. Poor Letitia, I don't know what she's going to do. She actually had a sit-down meeting as well with Dr. Mimi and Toya. And I don't know what she's going to do about that situation, because the ending of the show was a party. They started at the beginning with Quad doing a get together at her home. Now we see when Quad first got that home, she did invite the ladies in because it was a TV event. I remember her giving a long speech and her family was there and all that, but Quad has not had them over. That's one of Simone's sticking points, that they're not really friends with Quad off the show. But now Quad is pretending like she's trying to be their friend, but we all know Quad just wants her job back. Dr. Heavenly seems to be feeling badly about her role in bringing Letitia, and now she's trying to make it up to Quad. She's going to freeze Letitia out. So I feel sorry for her as far as that goes. So we see that Simone was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. That was a pretty good episode. It's pretty short. They were there in the clubhouse. Cecil was in the audience, drink in hand, of course. The bartender was Stacy's friend that came on Real Housewives of Potomac and did not like TJ from the first. He thought he was a phony, which he was. And Stacey Rosh was the other guest. So she doubled down with Andy that she thinks that TJ is lying about her paying him in order to make her look stupid. I don't believe Stacey, y'all. I think Stacey's a liar. I think she's a fraud. Someone else called the show and asked, what did Stacey think about Vivian saying that she returned the gowns funky? Stacey does that thing where she goes, who? I think Andy should have pressed her. Stacey, you know who Vivian, who's been on the show, is Karen Huger's friend for years and who introduced you to the people that then brought you on. So that's who, Stacey. And I think you did return the gowns funky. And I'm glad Vivian released that. So Stacey, I'm beginning to think she was a fraud. I did like her character. I thought she was very light and funny. But one of the things that Dr. Simone said, she believes that the meanest mean girl among Bravo universe is Portia. That's kind of strange. Portia, and her justification was, well, Portia attacked Kenya. Portia did attack Kenya. That was true, but that was provoked, in my opinion, with that prop, which I heard that a certain producer brought. Now, I don't want to put everything on him, make him the boogeyman, but I heard that. I heard that the props and all that came from this certain producer. And remember when she ended up getting dragged by Portia because of that, she was yelling in Portia's face over Cynthia, which Cynthia should have been more upset, because I would have took the prop before Portia had a chance to do that. But she thinks Simone, Dr. Simone, I don't know if she really thinks that. Dr. Simone's turned into such a liar. She's going to name Portia Williams as the mean girl. The meanest girls to me are on her own cast, which would be Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie. So I thought that was really strange. Dr. G was wilding out with that song. Sharon Gabo, that was so ridiculous and silly. I wish Letitia would have a talk with him. She's younger than him. Let him know that is corny. That is silly. When Scott used to rap and he would do his raps, he did a rap to Contessa. I thought that was sweet because everybody know he was wilding out with Contessa. He was acting real silly, talking crazy. And I like their relationship now. They seem to be friends again. But Dr. G, there was no excuse for that song. He should have saved that for the therapist because we didn't want to hear that. Sharon Gabo says, Stacey was embarrassing and looked like a straight up clown. She did. And Wendy was trying to tell her. Wendy was doing everything in her power to let her know, Stacey, if this comes out that when he brings these receipts, and he probably will, none of us are going to believe you. And Stacey didn't want to hear it. She decided to persist in her lie. So now I think we're going to see TJ. TJ loves being on camera and that kind of stuff. we are going to see TJ come out with some receipts or something like that. This is them from, I'm going to show my favorite couple again. This is the night of the reunion. They shot the reunion. So they were dressed alike. So I thought that was funny. Eddie has one of those personalities where he could become friends with anybody. So when he was on the phone with TJ, FaceTiming him, and he's like, yeah, man, when you come to DC, we got to get together. And Kierna's boyfriend, what's his name? I don't like him. I don't like how he speaks to Kierna. But TJ was saying he's not coming to the Fake Ass show. He's never going to be in DC again. And I was saying, Eddie, don't invite that man up there. And then when he was going back and forth with TJ, later on Andy let the ladies in the audience know what was going on. Stacey said that she couldn't imagine it. And I believed it immediately. Of course, I started out talking about this. I'm sorry I circled around and came back. But of course, Giselle and Ashley wanted to see what was in the phone, wanted to hear it. The camera that it was on happened to be on Mia as she was leaving. Good riddance to bad rubbish Mia with the husband and the boyfriend on Potomac. Just disgraceful. Andy Cohen, please don't bring this lady back to our screens. A mess. But when they started to bring Eddie out, and he came out there dressed like Wendy. He had his white on, but he had on black bottoms. And they look so cute together. They are a beautiful couple. I had some nice pictures of them. I follow her on IG, and they spent Christmas and a week or two after over in Nigeria, and they're gorgeous. But when he got first seat, that was so funny to me, because you know how certain men are. Men don't really do a lot of the gossip that the women do. So Eddie was living his best life, and I just loved it. And I loved how Wendy would always step in to litigate his case. Like, okay, now Eddie, he is not lying. This is on tape. Because Stacey was still trying to lie in front of the viewer face, talking about she couldn't imagine. And there it is on tape. So when Andy sat next to her and actually played it, then she says, well, hurt people, this, that, and the other. Wendy checked her. She said, well, just let it be known that Eddie is not lying, that he did say that. And Giselle gonna pipe up talking about, this is not about Eddie. This is not about you. But I agree with Wendy for clearing it up, because you saw when they tried to lie on Eddie. That's how he got the name Happy Eddie. But he is Happy Eddie. And that's my favorite couple. So I'm proud of them. I like the way Wendy took over. This is the Dr. Wendy I've been looking for seasons. They've been trying to isolate her and push her out. And I think it's because she is Black excellence. I think it's because some of the ladies are not secure enough to stand next to her. And so Robin and Giselle and Ashley were trying to freeze her out. And then when Mia came in, who had no business there, in my opinion, she's not Potomac. That husband and boyfriend thing, that's ridiculous. And Giselle was even saying during the reunion, she lives in Atlanta and homeschools her kids in Atlanta. So Andy, please don't bring Mia back. We don't want Mia back. What Mia has done is disgusting. And this was just going to be we're right at 20 something minutes. So I thank everyone for stopping by. Let me make sure I had the threads with the deadbeat. I'm calling him a deadbeat. I wish him well on his health, because he's going to need it. The woman and her children say, you're not moving in here. You don't have to go home, but you will not come here. I went over Real Housewives of Potomac, that reunion, Eddie and Dr. Wendy, my favorite couple. Stacey going out bad, or as Sharon described her, like a clown, which is true. And our Real Housewives of Atlanta upcoming preview and review. So thank you all. I just wanted to check in on a Monday and be able to speak to everybody, give my little view on what's going on over here at Sandra P's Gen Xtra. And I'll be back tomorrow for another extra. I will schedule it. I don't know if I'm going to do an AM or a PM. It's more than likely it's going to be a PM. Now that I just think about it right then, it's probably going to be a PM, maybe 7 PM. Just some hot topics. I still owe a Traders review. I may throw that in as a premiere. So when I do that and I'll put the time in and it premieres, I can be in the chat speaking about it as well. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Mindful Monday, Meaningful Monday, Money Monday, whatever you want to call Monday. Enjoy today and the rest of your week. Thank you for stopping by in my chat. Bye.